Okay, welcome everyone. My name's Anne-Marie McNally from Family Business Australia, and it's my pleasure to welcome you here today to learn more about our new Emerging Leaders program. We have a great group of people on the line today. We have some incumbents and senior managers within family business who are looking to learn more about the program for some of their emerging leaders who are coming through the business. We have some emerging leaders themselves on the line, and we also have some advisors who are looking to learn more about the program in order to be able to recommend it to their clients. So welcome to you all. It's great to have you here today. Today's presentation will run for about 15-20 minutes to provide you an overview of the Emerging Leaders program. And then we'll be opening up for question and answers. On the line today, we have the two facilitators of the program, Andrew Barter and Andrew Stevens, and I'll introduce them to you in a short while. To kick off, first of all, I just want to talk a bit about why FBA is launching this program. And the reason is back in late 2016, we did some research amongst our membership and others in the family business community, and we came up with some interesting results. 90% of next generation leaders tell us that they need professional development in leading and managing people. 84% of next generation leaders tell us they need to develop their skills in strategy and business planning. And 88% of incumbents wanted to see a product which would help the next generation prepare for the future, and 95% were looking for something that would assist the next generation in leading and managing people. You spoke and FBA listened, and the result is the Emerging Leaders program. The program runs for about 20 weeks, and during that time, participants engage in both online and face-to-face activities that are designed to provide real return on investment for both the individual and the family business. The program kicks off with an online introduction and a bit of pre-work before the first intensive workshop, which happens after a couple of weeks, where the group comes together and starts their learning journey in the areas of leadership and strategy. After that workshop, there are application tasks that participants need to undertake to embed what they've learnt in that workshop back into the business and into their own professional development in terms of building their leadership skills. They come together again about 6 weeks later, again to focus on learning more about leadership and strategic business planning, and again have to take on some tasks when they get back into the business to be able to embed that learning. They come together for a final time 6 weeks later to finalise their projects and celebrate what they've learnt throughout the program, and then again go back to the business and embed what they learn. So this is why we say this program has been designed to provide real return on investment for family businesses. This graphic gives you an overview of the program. We do have a sample schedule which provides you with more detail on what happens in each of the core elements of the program, and you can download that from the Emerging Leaders page on our website, fambiz.org.au/emergingleaders. Who's the program for? It's for emerging leaders, whether they are family or non-family members, who are committed to working their way up through the family business to build their career within the family business, but do not yet hold the most senior roles of CEO or MD. As a participant, if you come into this program, what you will do over that 4-month period is build confidence in yourself, in your leadership capability, and position yourself to be an even more respected leader within the family business. You'll develop the skills to navigate challenges in what is becoming an increasingly complex world, and demonstrate your capability to make a significant contribution to the future of the family business, both through enhanced skills in strategic business planning and also through enhancing leadership skills. Our program facilitators, as I mentioned, are here with us today. We have Andrew Barter and Andrew Stevens. We'll start with Andrew Stevens, who will be facilitating the leadership component of the Emerging Leaders program. He'll provide you a bit of background on himself and also as to what participants will experience when they are undertaking this program. Andrew Stevens.
Thanks, Anne-Marie, and welcome everybody to this call. I'll be relatively brief in my coverage of the leadership component to allow as much time as we possibly can to talk and answer your questions, which I think is very important. Just to quickly give you some background to myself, I spent the first 15 years of my working career in family business. First of all, my own family had a business in manufacturing and retailing. So I spent my early career there, worked my way up into a general manager's position, and then joined a national family business where I spent the next 5 years working across Australia and also internationally in that business before joining another family business in a slightly different field, but mainly doing multi-state, multi-site retail. For the last 9 years, though, I've been designing and delivering leadership programs for a range of organisations through my role as Director of Executive Education at the University of Adelaide. That was a role that I left 2 years ago to start my own small business, specialising in helping leaders make better decisions in what we're finding is an increasingly complex and ambiguous environment. It's probably now best if I turn and speak a little bit more about this particular program. Okay, so the leadership modules have been designed with two things in mind. The first is skill set. Most programs that we do and undertake in a leadership focus heavily on skill set, but we want this program also to look at developing a mindset. What we do know, and my experience has told me working in the leadership space for many years now, it's not just the skills you have, but it's also the way you think about the environment that you operate that makes you a better decision maker and makes you a better leader. You will learn in this program how to lead in an increasingly complex and unpredictable environment, as well as understanding what leadership skills you need right now, today, that the day after the module, you can actually go back and apply in your workplace. So the focus will be on direct application. And of course, all the tools, concepts, and techniques that we will be introducing to the participants of this program will be through that unique lens of the family business. Okay, so what are we expecting this will help participants to do or help you to do? So develop leadership skills to navigate challenges in this complex world, to better lead yourself through enhanced self-awareness and broadened perspective, better lead your team through developing a better understanding of team dynamics and that very important skill of communication and how to improve your communication skills, and how to better lead the organisation by developing a deeper knowledge of culture and complex problem solving and seeing the organisation from a systemic perspective, so a helicopter view if you like. Okay, so how is it structured? We have 3 leadership modules that build on each other through the program. The first is leading self, again, focused on your self-awareness and the core skills of effective leadership. The next module will be focusing on teams, building high-performance teams, managing high-performance teams, becoming a better communicator. And then the third and final leadership module will focus on leading the organisation, which is actually how you deal with complex challenges and lead across not just one team, but across divisions, units, and maybe the entire organisation eventually. As I mentioned in my opening, we want this program, the leadership component, to be as practical as possible and to actually make progress on real challenges that you're facing or individuals that come into this program are facing back in the business. So we are asking each of the people who come into the program to bring a real leadership challenge that they're facing right now, something that they've maybe tried to solve and have so far not done that effectively. And what we will be doing is we will use that as a foundation throughout the program to actually apply the learning of the program, but also use the peers within the program, so the fellow participants, to get advice and to consult to the participants on their particular challenge so that they can actually make progress in real time.
Thank you, Andrew.
Sam Marie, I might at that point sort of hand back to you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew. I'll now hand over to Andrew Barter, who is the facilitator for the strategy component of the Emerging Leaders Program. Andrew.
Good morning, everyone, for those in Queensland and WA, and good afternoon for everyone else in other parts of Australia. Following Andrew Stevens' format, I'll give a bit of a description about myself first, and then we'll go through in relation to the sessions that I'll be leading or facilitating in this course. A little bit about myself, Brisbane-based, but we work throughout Australia. I'm a partner in a consulting firm based in Brisbane, but like I said, operating throughout Australia. We do a lot of strategy work. We do a lot of strategy implementation work. We bring together big businesses who buy each other. We do a lot of operational work in corporate governance. I also wear other hats. I sit on or chair a number of boards or advisory boards, both family and other small corporates, and I drive a lot of the strategy components in that space. I also work with a lot of family offices and family businesses to provide the whole family solutions, and some of our clients are going all the way from startup to medium-sized businesses, corporate agencies or government agencies, all the way to the large end of town being the large corporates. So the process that we'll be going through is a very scalable process in relation to that. So that's a little bit about myself. Let's get involved in relation to the course.
Andrew, I might just mention, Andrew is also an accredited advisor with Family Business Australia. He's a forum facilitator and also sits on the Queensland State Committee. So Andrew, I'll hand back to you.
No problem, thank you. So I understand family and family dynamics very well through all the various engagements that I have. How we've structured this course is really in 3 phases, and when using the adult learning model in relation to the concept point of view, we're going to providing a bit of theory, because you need to get your theory right around what is strategy and how does it operate. But we're not going to get bogged down in relation to it. You can go out and buy your strategy books, but this is a more of a hands-on approach. So we're going to use a bit of the theory to give us the fundamentals and the structure, and then we're going to move it straight into the application stage. I'm a firm believer in relation to hands-on learning, and the application stage is going to be based in two phases. One's going to be using a case study, which is going to be a class case study that everybody will be using, and you'll be working in your groups to work through a case study in relation to a family business that's going through a fair bit of transitional change, and you'll be like the internal advisor or the internal consultant working with the family in relation to how they should go about developing and implementing their strategy. So we'll be turning the theory into a bit of practice. You're going to be learning and making mistakes on another person's business. Part of the workplace or the workplace project is that you'll be what you've learned through the theory and through the case study, you'll be applying that in relation to your own business. And I'll be talking about the project a little bit later in relation to that. And that allows you to be able to reflect in relation to what you've learned and how you're going to try and apply it in your own business. The good idea in relation to the case study is that we're going to do it in a safe environment as well. So we can ask all those stupid questions, demystify everything. So the 3 steps: concept, application, and a bit of reflection. By the time you go through the 20 weeks, going through that cycle, you'll become quite familiar in relation to what is strategy and how it operates. Because it's important in relation from a strategy discussion is understanding what is strategy. From working in the strategy space for many years, there's a lot of mystique about it. There's a lot of mystery about it. There's a lot of misunderstanding about it. So we'll be spending a little bit of time about theory in relation to what is this, what is strategy and why have it, and what happens if you don't. And then because this is a family business and working with family businesses, is that extra dynamic around strategy and the family systems. So we're very mindful in relation to that. And this is where this is probably a unique course in that respect, because we do add in that extra leg and extra complexity into the program. So we'll be talking in relation to the family side of things. And these are people who may not necessarily be in the business, who are family members, but also these are the family members who are in the business at various levels throughout the business, as well as how to drive a good strategy. And then we'll be going across into the interesting part in relation to the A to B strategic conversation approach. So in relation to that, the A to B strategic conversation is something that we've been using for over the last 10 years. We've been refining it. It's something that Tough Problem owns. And what we've done is that we've been able to demystify and simplify the strategy process so any business can use it. It's a very scalable business model and framework. We've used it from startups all the way through to the large corporates who are employing about 25,000 people, multinational companies. It's a very simple approach, and this is why we think it's tailored right for the family business, because depending on the size of your business or where you are within the business, you can either dial it up or dial it down in relation to that. The idea about strategy for me is that it's not something that you write once a year and put it onto the shelf. It's a living document that you use month on month. So in relation to that, we've drawn on the human-centered design principles. If you want to know more about that, you need to come to the course. But it's more about more interaction so that you get good change management processes going through it. What it allows in relation to the A to B process is that you have different conversations at different stages as you go through the A to B. So just very quickly, the A space is the current state. The B space is where do you want to be and what does success look like? And then the TWO is how you're going to try and get there. We break it down and we go through the theory. We use that approach in relation to the case studies, and then you'll be then applying that inside your own business. The good thing about the A to B is that as you build it, it becomes a very visual document to allow you to have those conversations back into the workplace. The last thing before we move on to the next slide is that it allows easy for execution because you can always refer back to it and you can always remember what were the conversations at the time, why we went in a certain direction or not. The strategy project. So this is going to be used throughout the 20 sessions and, 20 weeks and across the 3 sessions where you'll be nominating your own workplace project. Now, depending on where you are in the business or how you want to try and tackle this, it could be when you wanted to try and deliver a strategy around a new product launch. It could be for your business unit. So argument's sake, you could be head of sales and you want to develop the sales strategy, or it could be the whole of business. And this is the benefit of the A to B, is that the framework is there, it's scalable. You can use it depending on what you want to do from a workplace project. Prior to starting the course, we'll be sitting with you in relation to what is your workplace project so we can really fine tune in relation to that. We'll be with your case studies, you'll be applying it directly and you'll be using it into your workplace to be implementing that. So that you talk to the right stakeholders, you identify them, you talk to them, and you get their buy-in along the way. This is where you get immediate ROI or return on investment, because as you're going back after each of these 3 sessions and between sessions, you'll be working on something that is probably something that you want to work on anyway within your business. So it's 2 wins in relation to that. Happy to ask any questions around the strategy project after this session.
Thank you, Andrew. So there is a very brief overview of the program and what we believe participants will get out of it. And as Andrew Barter has just pointed out, there is real return on investment for the business here. You can hire someone in to do your strategy for you, or you can actually build it within the business and at the same time provide professional development for emerging leaders within the business. And that's one of the things that we see as really powerful to come out of this program. So I'll now open up for questions. If you have a question, please type it in the question box and I'll read it out so that everyone can hear the question. And then we'll decide who the best person is to answer the question, be it myself or Andrew Barter or Andrew Stevens. So if you have any questions, please type them in the box now and we will read them out to the group.
Wonder, Anne-Marie, while you're waiting for people maybe to be able to type their questions in, if you just want to let people know about the design process that's gone behind this program and how long it's sort of taken, not just the original research, but also how long you've been working on this program to pull these elements together.
Thank you, Andrew. I will. So this program has been under development by FBA now for over 12 months. Post the research that we did in late 2016. And the initial design went to our education committee in December of 2016. We then went out to market for people to submit expressions of interest in being involved in the development of this program. Both Andrew Barter and Andrew Stevens were part of that process, obviously. And we had a lot of really strong expressions of interest, but we thought that these two were the right ones for us to create the sort of program that we want to offer family businesses. This is an FBA program. FBA owns this program, and we're really proud of it. As I said, it's been worked on for a very long time with a lot of input from family business representatives and experts in adult education. And as a result, we've come up with something that simply doesn't exist elsewhere in the world. There are leadership programs everywhere. There are leadership programs you can go and do half a day or a day. Leadership to me is about behaviour change, and that can't happen in a program of that nature. So that's why we've gone for the extended program of about 4 months. To enable that, as I said earlier, the return on investment both to the individual and the business in terms of providing leadership development, but also helping the business move its strategy along. So do we have any questions? There must be a question out there somewhere. Here we go. Okay, first question has come up, and I will refer this to both Andrew Stevens first and Andrew Barter second. The question is, what sort of questions should you ask yourself if you're considering undertaking the program? Mr. Stevens.
Well, from a leadership point of view, I think this program would be very suited to those people who are either considering moving up in the business or have been nominated to progress through the business. But in order to take those more senior roles, they need to actually develop their skill set. So the skill set that they've developed up to this point in their careers is extremely useful and will continue to be so, but they'll need something extra, especially in the leadership and strategy space, to actually make them successful at the next level that they're going to. The next group that I think that would be very well suited to this program is those people maybe already in middle management or maybe even sort of upper middle management roles and are finding that they need something a little bit extra, again, in the strategy and leadership space in order to be successful. So they may have been in their role for some time, but are finding that things have changed, the environments may be changing, and they need to develop their skills maybe to that next level to be successful in what they're being asked to do. Andrew, what's your perspective?
Yeah, just on top of that, some of the things that as a participant you should be asking yourself is, from a business perspective would be, do I need to influence others in relation to my business or my parts of the business? Do I need to have to clearly articulate the direction of my business unit or where my business is going? And how to best to do this in relation to getting other people on board. So in relation to the strategy side of things, we ask each of those questions because, I always say, anxiety is the price you pay for an unprepared mouth and an unprepared mind. The strategy session is being developed so that you are both prepared in mouth, in mind, and to work out which way you want to go. It allows not just a single focus on what is your strategy, but for your organisation or your business unit.
Thank you, gentlemen. And we have another question, which I'll answer and then hand over to both of you as well. Is the program directed at a certain size of family business, for example, in terms of turnover and or staff numbers? And the answer to that question is no. The flexibility that we've designed into this program and the nature of the projects that the individual works on throughout the program means it's applicable to any family business. As Andrew Barter has said, the scalability of the A to B approach means it could be a very small business or a much larger business. And in terms of the leadership component of the program, leadership is essential regardless of the size or the maturity of the family business. Andrew and Andrew, do either of you have comments to add?
I mean, Anne-Marie, I'd just echo your thoughts. Through my current work, we get to work with our largest clients, 80,000 people across 27 countries, and our smallest is 2. But what we do see is there's commonality in what the leaders in those organizations need. And I think that the design process has been extremely rigorous, especially from FBA's point of view, in making sure that we distill those leadership capabilities that are going to be equally applicable across all organizations, no matter whether they have 1 or 2 people or many, many more.
Thank you, Andrew.
Just to add on top of that, once again, just to echo the others, is that there is no difference in relation to size. The way that the strategy size has been designed, we've designed for we've used this and rolled out this type of framework for new businesses and for mature businesses, anyway from startup organisations where there's 1 or 2, all the way up to 20,000 when quite complex. Obviously, depending on the size of the business, is depending on the available data that you have, the complexity of your systems and processes. But you can go as deep as you want down to be able to design your strategy, or you can keep it at the high level. This is where the benefit of your project comes into play, but you will be given the framework to do it. What we find, again, to echo the other Andrew, every business has the same common problems. It's just the details within them that are different. So to answer the question, size of business doesn't count. What you get are the frameworks to take it. So as your business does grow, you can then apply little extra parts to it.
Thank you, gentlemen. Mr. Stevens, I'll hand this next question to you. The question is from someone who doesn't have an aspiration to end up leading the business as either CEO or managing director, but still be seen as a leader within, as a family member within a multi-generational family business. How can they best sell the program to the business to ensure that the business is keen to sponsor them to do it?
I mean, it's a great question. Thanks, Scott, for putting that up. Again, this program's not for just those who aspire to be the CEO or the MD or whatever the highest position is in the business. Leadership to me, philosophically, is an activity, not a role. So leadership is about what you do, not the role you're given within an organization. And I think we can all think of examples where we've seen amazing leadership displayed by people who don't have a lot of positional power. And unfortunately, we also see the opposite in some businesses where we have people who've got lots of positional power, but don't demonstrate maybe very strong leadership. So the whole frame that we'll be addressing leadership from is leadership as an activity, which means it doesn't matter if you aspire to be the CEO or not, that's not necessarily required. As far as how you sell this program in to your particular business, that's again a really good question. I would start to be looking at what's in the business now that you think could be improved on. What are the sorts of decisions in this current environment that people are having to make that they may not have made before? What is the complexity of the environment, the markets putting up that maybe some new thinking, some new leadership, and some new strategy could actually help the business? Almost every organization that I have the privilege of working with has unanswered needs. There's not everything is going well all of the time. So I would look and say, where are our opportunities that we may not be capitalizing on, or where are the challenges we're not quite facing? And then maybe think about this program supporting you to be better in that space to help the business to be more effective, not just in the current situation, but as things I would predict are going to get more complex. I don't know whether, Andrew, you've got anything to add on that.
I totally agree. I've in former life before I started and become a partner of my current consulting firm is middle management, and where I came from inside the corporate world was that is getting that middle management really good on the leadership point of view, because who knows at any stage that you'll be required to lead in some form or another in relation to that. In relation to selling from the strategy point of view in relation to this is that the opportunities is to share, connect and grow with other family businesses. And this is why this is such a great course, because you do all have common problems together, i.e. you're working in families, or the challenges of working in family. And the benefit of this is that not only just provides you off-the-shelf theory and things like that and frameworks, it also allows you to challenge your thinking, your approach, and gives you new options and avenues to go down through the case study, as well as you can apply that back into the business. So it doesn't matter if you're the CEO where you've got to execute it. Every part of the business has to be able to contribute towards where the strategy is going.
Thank you, gentlemen. We are just about out of time. What I would like to do is just provide you with the website address to find out more information on the program. If you have any questions, please feel free to give me a call. This is an exciting program for FBA. We're excited of the benefits that this can bring to family businesses to help them to, as Andrew said, connect and share and grow their family businesses, and for the individuals to grow their skills as a leader. So thank you all again for your time today. If you do want any more information, fambiz.org.au/emerging leaders has all of the information that you need, or give me a call 0437 841 571. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Andrew Barter. Thank you, Andrew Stevens, for providing more of an overview of the program. We look forward to seeing you there. Thank you.